Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. This is Annie 150, and this is Module 4, and this is Part 6. And we'll take you through how to get everything organized and in a new scene. So let's get started. Okay, so now the next thing is let's clean up our scenes and get everything back where we need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and basically clean my scene up really quick. Now be careful with how you do this, okay? So you want to make sure that you have your finished scene, right? We talked about that. So save scene as, so we don't lose this, and call that final, right? Okay, I'm going to do that again. Okay, there we go. So that's our final, so we don't make any mistakes here. And I'm going to turn the battle axe off. I've already saved that as an FBX, MB, and an OBJ, so I'm safe with that. So I'm going to turn that off. I've got my lighting in here. That's really important. I don't want to redo my lighting. If you didn't save this in a scene somewhere, I can't really help you, so I'm going to put in the lighting we did before for the battle axe and the low poly. Otherwise, you're going to have to watch that video again. I'm going to go ahead and put that into Module 4, okay, to make sure you guys have it, okay. But I'm not going to create another one for the high poly. It's the same exact thing that you did for the low poly, so I'm not going to recreate that. What I'm going to do, work smart, not hard, is select, okay, everything, okay. So that means if I click on, that means the Arnold Sky Dome and the background, and zoom in a little bit and select the lights one by one. Again, I'm going to hit the Q key. That kind of gets in the way, so I'm try that again. Actually, let's do the other way around. Let's start with the light. Okay, start with all the lights, holding the Shift key down. Click on the background, and then click on the Sky Dome, and then do this. Go to File, Export Selection. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to go Export Selection. I'm going to call this 1A Arnold lighting, all caps, template, so I can use this over and over again. 1A Arnold lighting template. Makes sense, doesn't it? Click Export Selection. There we go. Awesome. So that keeps things nice and clean. And what I want to do now is find my dagger and all my low poly stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and this is something that you need to do, is export your low poly out, because you'll need to do that anyway, as an OBJ, MB file, and FBX file. Okay, do that for the low poly and the high poly. So now I'm going to find my dagger scene. I'm going to pause this, find my dagger scene, and get that high poly, and then export that out for you. Okay, I'm back, and so now I have my dagger high poly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that, all these pieces. Okay, I found my scene for it, and I'm going to go into Combine. So I'm going to click on Combine. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So once I get all that combined, I'm going to select it. I'm going to delete by type history, freeze transformations, and I'm going to put it in a new layer. Okay, called dagger underscore high poly. There we go. So there's my high poly, and it's in a layer. There we go. And I'm going to export this out. So File, Export Selection. Okay. I don't know if I did this before. If I did, I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm going to do it again. So we're going to do with an export of a Maya binary first. Might as well do that one first. And we're going to call this dagger. Okay, high poly. Make sure we're describing it. Alright. And this will be FIN, finished. There we go. I'm going to highlight that. And Control C. There we go. And then save it. Okay. Looks like I've already done that. Okay. Replace it. Sure. Alright, let's go to the next one. File, Export Selection. And this one we're going to do a OBJ. Okay. And looks like I haven't done that one yet, so Control V, right? And do that one. Okay. And then the next one is FBX, so let's do FBX on that one. Here we go. Perfect. And smoothing groups, smooth mesh, scroll down. And you can pause the video anytime. FBX 2020. And just go Control V. You can see that we have our FBX in here. Okay. Dagger high poly. Export. There we go. So that one's done. Okay. So there it is. And where do we have the Dagger copy? Is the low poly. Okay. Right. So let's select that. Okay. Now I'm not gonna, because we're gonna UV map this. Okay. In the next video or in the next module, we're not going to combine this. Okay. So we're gonna select it. And what I'm going to do is select that and just kind of, this is going to be our low poly finish, so I'm going to go ahead and click on File, Save Scene As, just like we did with the other one. This is going to be called Dagger Low Poly FIN, or finished. Okay, so we know that's finished. Save that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and save this out too. So I'm going to save export selection. It's always good to do this. We're going to start with the MB file. Okay. So Dagger. Okay, low poly. Okay. Now be careful with this because we have to triangulate the low poly, remember, to bring it into Substance Painter, but we're going to call that try, remember? So this is just the Dagger low poly, right? So I'm going to highlight that and Control C so I can copy it and export selection, right? And then we'll go continue exporting selection, and we can go in here this time to OBJ. Okay, not much here. And just save that. Okay. Export. Okay, good. And then one more. Export selection. And then we're just going to fix everything up so we can have everything in one scene. Okay. Export FBX. And the same thing here. And I'm just going to head and Control V and just kind of copy and paste that name. Export selection. So now we've got all that. Alright, so perfect. So we got high poly, low poly exported. And we've got the only thing we need is the Battle Axe low poly. Okay, that needs to be introduced now. So I'm going to pause and get all that set up, and we'll do that one. Okay, I found my Battle Axe, the low poly, and it was in a render. Okay, so everything looks good there. Remember, it's two pieces, the low poly was. Okay, so what we're going to do is select it, and we want to go ahead and we don't want to combine it. That's the low poly, so we're going to export that out in 3 files. File, export selection. Okay, we'll do the same exact thing. Okay, you guys should be old hats at this. Alright, so this will be called Battle Axe low poly. Alright, great. And I'm going to highlight that and copy it, Control C, and then save it out. There we go. And then continue doing that. So we're going to export selection, and we're going to do OBJ. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm just protecting myself from any issues later on, and I know I have these. And I got an OBJ, and I've got an FBX, and I got an MB file, and I can bring it into any project that I want. And it's just something that I like doing. And plus I ask for it. That's the reason why I want you guys to start doing this. Okay, so next one is not that, it's FBX. Yeah, I got one more to do. Okay, Control V and export selection. And it's got a Arnold shader. Again, this is what happens. It gives you a warning. Don't worry, it's okay. It still saved it out. Alright, so that's nice. I've got my scene all set up with my lights, but what if you don't? So this is how you clean everything up. This is so awesome for this particular module, module 4. It's important that we have a nice clean scene, and the best way to do that and to give me what I need is to just clean it all up. And this is what I do. This is how I do it. So I'm going to go to File, New Scene. This is great. So don't save. Don't need to. Alright. At least I don't need to, because I've saved a bunch of stuff. And now what I do is I go to File, Import. Ooh, I love that. File, Import. I use that all the time. So what I'm looking for is the high poly, or actually the lighting. And I called it 1A lighting. 1A Arnold lighting. I called it something so different that it's easy to find. So I'll click on that. Click on Import. Continue. Yep. There it is. Wow. Awesome. So did it come with all the stuff? Yep. Yeah. Very cool. Now the Arnold settings might be different, so that's okay. Let's zoom in to the little grid here. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to import both of our high poly pieces that we just did. I don't need your low poly pieces in this, okay? So I'm going to go to Import, okay, and I'm going to go to, what do I call it, Dagger low poly. See, this is the problem now. Dagger low poly finished. I don't want that one. Dagger high poly finished. That's what I want. So import. Oh yeah, there it is. Awesome. And just go ahead and bring it up. Oh, turn off grid snap. There we go. Perfect. Okay, there it is. Awesome. So we can get all that taken care of. Very good. And then let's go ahead and turn that off. All right, that's great. I'm going to turn off my lighting too, just for now. Okay, and then we're going to File, Import, and see, Battle Axe high poly finished. Did I call it finished? Battle Axe high poly. Maybe I didn't. Battle Axe high poly. What's the date today? 12th. I think it's the 12th. Yeah. And let's go look at the 12th. So at 1:11, yeah, that's the correct one. Probably should have called it finished. I look at the date and everything and import that. Okay, I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Great. So got everything. And I brought a bunch of junk with it. Ooh, that's not good. So I don't like that. So I'm going to move this out of the way a second. I don't like all this stuff in here. So I'm going to delete the layers. Okay. I'm just right clicking over it, highlighting it and deleting the layers. Yep. It brought everything with it, which I didn't think I selected all, right? But I'm going to delete these layers. I really don't like all that junk in there. That's why I moved my piece away from the side. I'm clicking on it and deleting all these layers. And for some reason it pulled those layers in. I don't like that because I don't like all those layers. So I will get rid of them. And I don't need anything else in here. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete. Yeah, this is not good. I don't want any of that stuff in here. Arnold lighting. That's what I just brought in. Then I brought all this other junk in here, which I didn't want. I was trying to clean my scene up, not make it messy. There we go. So you have to be careful what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move that back. Just do 0 because I freeze transformations. And here's my, where is my, okay, that's the low poly. Arnold, I have to bring my dagger back in. I accidentally deleted that. Okay. Alright, so let's bring, what is this thing? Alright, don't need that. Don't need all that stuff. Okay, so that's out of there. So now I got everything cleaned up. That's crazy. But it's just, you know, you just gotta watch it. There we go. And now the battle axe is no longer affiliated with that, so let's go ahead and delete that. That layer, and let's do a new layer. This is our finalized piece, and that looks really nice. So let's go ahead and create a new layer for that. Oops, we needed to have it selected. Anyway, I can go and add selected objects. There we go, and call that battle axe. It's really important that you get everything nice and clean, because you can just be very confused by it. Okay, there's my lighting system, and I need my dagger now. Okay, so click everything off and go File, Import, and I know my dagger comes in just fine. Dagger low poly. Dagger low poly finished? Yes. Oh no, high poly finished. Import. There we go. There it is. Just move it up and put it in, and it's got its own layer now. There we go. That's good. I'm going to rename that. Let's call that dagger high poly. There we go. And then the Arnold. Okay, we'll double click on that, and we'll. That's a really long name. Let's just call this lighting. Here we go. Something simple. And there, that's the scene we want. We want it really nice and simple. That's all that work is worth it, because then I can just go in here. That's my battle axe. We know that's the high poly, and it looks good. So now we can just concentrate on actually rendering now. Okay, so that's going to be in the next video. Okay. So I can turn these off and on, and now I don't have to worry. I got my lighting in here, everything looks good, and so I've got my scene all saved. So now I need to save my scene. So let's call this save as, and let's call this 1-1A high poly axe dagger, and we'll call that scene FIN finished. Right, and save it. There we go. Okay, we're good. And so we'll stop here, and we'll move on to part 7, where we're going to take and do the screenshots first. I need all the screenshots, and then we're going to do our renders. And please watch that video on how to set up lighting if you lost your lighting, and then watch that and set it up, and then we'll come back and render. Alright, so again, if you're missing your lighting, go ahead and watch that video where I set up lighting for the low poly. Alright, and if you've already got this lighting all set up in here, like I have here, where I can just turn it off and on, then you're good to go with part 7. Alright, I'll see you in that part 7.